Hello, everybody, and welcome back to today's event, Misfits Racing League round number 14, season 2 action. It's the tier 2 division, of course, and we're taking on the one and only Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's Baku. And of course, taking a look at the iconic Baku city circuit. You can see there on screen, there's a lot of different 90-degree turns for sure. Henry, joining me today. How you doing, Henry?
I'm okay, Striff. How about yourself?
Oh, it's Baku, and who knows what to expect on this circuit, of course, as so many 90-degree turns here. Of course, Sector 1 is filled with them, and of course you have that crazy castle section up through Sector 2 there, those back straights, and then Sector 3 is just an absolute drag race through into the end. And I'm super pumped for this one. Of course, it's Tier 2, and we're taking a good look at where, I should say, we've been so far this season. Of course, round 14, dead smack in the middle of our second calendar. Round number 14, Belgium, Hungary, and Bahrain kicked off this half of the season. And then we look back, of course, as to where we've been. We started things in Abu Dhabi, and we're all the way here now in Baku. Let's take a look at the teams, of course. 10 teams representing all of the constructors. We have Ferrari, Extreme 1409, and Jack S over there. Haas with Max Inkster, Jeb sitting this one out today. Racer 33 and Nigel over at Renault. Liam and Honning over at Mercedes, and Robbo with Maxim over at Alpha. It's a Max and Juice box for Red Bull. Tammy Halla and Kai Bacchini in the Williams cars. Jay and Young IP, the newest addition to the Tier 2 roster, taking a step back from Tier 1, taking over for Matt, who was dismissed from the division. JM2 and Gadwin over at Toro Rosso, CJ Virtual and Ferg Pavia over at Racing Point. Let's take a look at how the standings shaped up following Bahrain. A few driver swaps throughout the division this week. Of course, Liam now is the leader, 59 points. Jay right behind him with 54, and Maxim right on the heels of the McLaren driver in the Alpha with 53 points. Kai Bacchini trailing with 41, and Gadwin in 5th with 19 points. Quite the little battle forming down there, though. Nigel and CJ Virtual right now tied with 16 points apiece. Extreme not too far behind him with 14. And that is how the grid is shaping up after 5 rounds here so far. Now, let's take a look at how the constructors are shaping up, Henry. Of course, Mercedes. It has to be Mercedes leading the championship, 112 points. Haas second with 97. McLaren in third with 78. Alfa Romeo 60 points. Toro Rosso rounds off the top 5 with 51. And then we have Williams, Renault, Ferrari in 8th, Racing Point 9th, and Red Bull in 10th. And that is going to wrap up our standings, Henry. So we should be ready to go in just a few moments. Ticker is now clocking down. We got 15 seconds to go, and I do believe the lobby is filled up. We should be good to ready up ahead of this race. And I'm just extremely excited, Henry. I don't know what to expect from all of this Azerbaijan action.
Cannot wait.
Can't
Be
wait.
very interesting.
Oh, of course it will. Of course it will.
Hope to see some clean racing. That is the main objective, let's say.
Everybody wants to be super clean in Baku, always. Always.
We're just starting things off now.
Okay, so loading into the wonderful Baku city circuit. I wonder what the weather's going to be like, Henry. That's another thing we have to get into is the weather. What happens if it rains in this circuit? I don't know what to say. It could get pretty interesting. Waiting on a couple of drivers to load in. That's Honning and Max Inkster now, the last of the drivers to load into the session here. Of course, it's going to be a short qualification. 18 minutes is the duration. Hopefully giving all of these drivers enough time to set a good lap here as we load into
Looks like
the
a
pit
dry
lane.
quali.
I have a black screen there. It looks like Jack S has had an issue. Unfortunate for the Ferrari driver. Looks dry.
He did say he's having computer problems, so we'll have to see.
Hopefully he's able to get back in for the race, and hopefully it didn't affect how the lobby wound up. I do hear an engine revving in the pits. So
We have a
it sticks
dry
me
race, it looks like.
It sticks me so far down this pit lane, Henry, that I can't even hear the damn cars. Who's that now? Max Inkster in the Haas.
Max is the first out.
So taking a look at how this circuit is, come out of that pit lane there, you got to follow that pit lane all the way to the end pretty well into turn 2, where you got to get on your brakes quite quick, I find, coming out of that pit lane in order to take the turn appropriately. We have Max Inkster now heading out on the hard compound tires coming through this first sector, and you can just see massive amount of 90-degree turns here. And there is such a large amount of 90-degree turns here. Turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I mean, it's and 7 pretty well. All 90-degree turns. Castle section now, very important to keep it clean up through there, as an incident could cause a lot of problems. And now we have Maxim taking a 5-place grid penalty after some kind of incident with, I believe, the McLaren of Young IP. But of course, Max Inkster in the Haas, who has taken his full-time position in the league now after a great debut earlier this season, will be the first driver here to set a flying lap as he tears down the pit straight into turn 1. Let's see how he fares off, Henry. Ooh, a bit of a lag there on my end.
Yeah, but yeah, same for me.
Oh, it looks like he is having major issues. That's going to be Nigel on the medium compound tires. We'll jump on board with him. Hopefully he is not having any connection issues, as I hope Max Inkster can get that set up or fixed ahead of this race. Unfortunately, connection issues aren't ideal. But the Renault, Nigel making his way through Sector 1 on the medium compound tires. What do you think about tires here in Baku, Henry? You think you'll see a lot of drivers starting on the medium compound, soft compound? If it was you, what would you do?
Strategy. I'm later on. I'll definitely go into the medium, and then switching up to the softs as the session goes through. I'm not sure about tire strategy here, actually.
I do believe it is one-stoppable here in Baku. I know some people will go soft medium or soft hard, depending on the driver. I mean, I know personally I'm hard on tires.
Yeah, me.
I like the mediums here for sure. They go a lot longer than the soft. Personally, for me, depending on where I qualify, I'd start on the hards, maybe go on to softs later in the race. You know, there's always the safety car as well that can play a role. Hopefully it doesn't play that much of a significant role here in Baku, but you can see there Nigel's invalidated his lap. We'll jump on board with someone else who may be flying. Jack S. perhaps flying now in the Ferrari. Juice Box in the Red Bull crossing the line first here in Azerbaijan. A 140.1 the time, and we can see Jack S. tapping that wall coming out of turn 2 there. We'll have to take a look at the front end, see if he lost an end plate, and he did in that Ferrari. I do believe he's going to keep that lap going, though. He's got the power down. Kai Bacchini on the hard compound tires now, setting provisional pole. A 140.1 on the hard compound tires. That is quite a good lap from the Williams driver. Always happy to see a full grid here for MRL as well. Such a great pool of reserves, always taking the time to sit on standby in the event that someone's not able to make it, and we greatly appreciate that. So thank you, everybody.
CJ
Sensorless.
Virtual.
Oh, excuse me,
140
CJ
flat.
Virtual. Yeah, nice lap from him. Sensorless in the Haas coming through now. Liam setting a 141 on the mediums. NRG 142.5, new reserve today as well. Sensorless crosses fifth fastest here in the Haas. A lot of 140s on the board so far here, Henry. We'll be looking forward to seeing who can crack that sub 140 level. 12 minutes remaining now. We're a third of the way through here in quali. And the more times that get set on that timing tower, I think the more my enthusiasm for this race will ramp up, because I know there's some quite quick boys here in the division that are gonna guaranteed put my jaw on the floor. Here's one of them now, Maxim, opting for that hard compound tire to set his first lap of the session. Starting his lap in the Alfa Romeo. You can see Jay comes out of the pits there on the hard compound tire, taking his time, getting his setup right before he heads out. A lot of people grazing that wall, Henry, through turn 2 there. We saw it again just now with Maxim. Fortunately for him, not taking any front end damage on the aero of the Alpha.
As just in there, Tammy Haller retired as she is serving a quali ban received from last race.
Fantastic that our drivers are abiding by the penalties handed out. Good job to Tammy. Getting her car set up and just getting an idea, watching her fellow drivers here throughout the qualifying session, just like us, feeling out where the competition will lie ahead of this race. Now there is an infamous crash zone. We just saw Maxim fly through turn 15. Of course, some drivers opt to cut that inside curving there. Others decide to go around it. But you know, we've seen it before. I'll never forget season 1, Azerbaijan, Zamajo versus Mikal into turn 15. There was quite the collision in there. Not the ideal overtaking zone. I do believe most of the overtaking we're going to see on this track will be down into turn 3. Maybe a little bit here into turn 2. Maxim, the 140.9 on the hard compound tires. We'll jump on with Jay now as he's coming through turn 1. But Sector 1, a few overtaking opportunities here through Sector 1. Down into turn 2 here can create some opportunities. We'll have to take a look at his front end, see if he lost some end plate there. No, he's okay. But down into turn 3 here, out of this DRS straight, also serves to be a pretty solid overtaking opportunity. Sector 2, for me personally, definitely a no overtaking zone. And then Sector 3, you kind of have to pick and choose your battle. It's going to be extremely important for people here to be patient and pick their battles throughout this race, because the wrong opportunity can, or the wrong move at the wrong time, well, we already know how that can go, Henry. It can make or break the race. So hopefully everybody here is patient. Don't do a Grosjean. Yeah, well, we're about to come up on where we saw that, of course. If there's a safety car, guys, please do your very best not to cook it into the wall. Nigel, a 137.8 on the soft compound tires, and him and Juicebox so far are the only two drivers to clock sub 140 times here. And Nigel throwing down the gauntlet with a fantastic show of speed in the Renault. Hopefully somebody will be able to jump up next to him. I know Nigel, definitely partial to the street circuits. He has been talking about how he enjoys Baku. Jay about to cross the line now.
141.8 on the hards. It's a nice little banker lap from the McLaren driver.
Very nice from
Jay's
him.
on a flyer. And Extreme. Oh, sorry, beg your pardon. Extreme is on outlap. Verge.
On board with Gadwin now as well.
Verge. With a 139.2 on the stuffed compound.
Very nice time there from Gadwin, a 140.4 on the mediums. Sorry if you were trying to get my attention. I had to briefly leave the microphone for a moment. Extreme in the Ferrari now. Ooh, coming through castle section here. Very squirrely. Ooh, and there's a bit of an incident. Very quick there. Quite possible those tires a little too hot. Seemed like he was struggling there for traction on the circuit. I do believe he's aborted the lap as well.
I believe so. He's just missing that left end plate.
So, taking a look at how the times have shaped up so far here, we've got Nigel on provisional pole with Ferch Pavia, aka Alonso, in second position, a 139.9 the time he's been able to set there on the soft compound. Juicebox in third. CJ Virtual in fourth, Liam fifth, Kai Bacchini in sixth, Sensorless in seventh, Gadwin eighth, Honning in ninth, and Max Sim rounding off the top 10 with Jack in 11th, Max in, it's a Max in 12th, I should say, Jay in 13th, Energy in 14th, Young IP in 15th, JM2 16th, Robbo in 17th with Max Singster 18th and Extreme 19th with no time set for the moment. So that's how things are shaping up so far. And then you have Tammy Halla in 20th, who will be starting from the back of the grid as a result of a qualifying ban. Looking for some other flying cars on circuit right now. Let's see if Max Sim's flying right now, and he is. So he's coming through turn 15 now. He's still on those hard compound tires, looking to improve, or perhaps he is on a in-lap here, and I do believe he is, as he's +4 through sector 2. So we'll see if we can find somebody else who's pushing the limits. Liam in the Mercedes. Currently running 6th on the grid. He's now on the soft compound tires. His best time was set on those mediums. Coming up through Castle now, looking pretty neat and tidy through here. Very tight to that inside wall on the exit for both of those turns. Coming through this nice straight, bendy, Curva Grande-esque portion of the circuit.
We know you love the Italians, Drift.
It's got a couple of kinks in it, that one. It's not as nice as the one in Italy.
Not so smooth.
No, not so smooth at all. Of course, very nice section of circuit, though, here in Baku. I absolutely love driving through this portion of the track when I'm racing.
Once in a while.
It's nice and smooth flowing, I find, when you come out of that 90-degree turn. But of course, Liam now, DRS wide open, coming down to the line. P2, a 138.5. Very nice time from the Mercedes, as he is the current championship leader as well, after seeing a couple of the former racers move up and graduate into the Tier 1 division. Liam now slowing things down on his in-lap. Honning, looks like he's on an in-lap as well. Looking for somebody else to fly here. Jack S in third with a 138.8 in the Ferrari as well.
Juicebox in the fly, I believe, in the Red Bull. Coming through the castle section.
Go on board with the Red Bull now.
It's very important to get a good exit of this corner here. Getting as much speed as you can. Put in overtake mode. Open that DRS. This juice box over the line, and it's 139.6.
Very nice
Pressing
lap
at
from
P4.
him. Really fast here in the stream. I can see Robbo in the chat currently having an issue getting back into his car in the session. I'm just going to show you a trick, Robbo. If you come into this screen here, the spectator menu, and you find your car, all you need to do is hit X if you're on pad like myself and find the take control option, and you will have the ability to get back into your vehicle, my friend. Hopefully that is able to help you out. Good looking out from us here in the MRL channel, trying to get you back into your car, and Ferch Pavia flies into that wall in turn 3, loses a major part of that front end wing, as I do believe he was on a flyer now. Yellow flags through sector 1 and 2.
That's the Williams of Kai Bacchini, I think.
Kai Bacchini on an outlap now is behind Ferch Pavia.
Who do you think is taking this one, Striff?
Oh, Henry, that's a tough call. Ask me after 10 laps, my friend. I don't want to curse anybody. We saw what happened in Hungary. I was switching to cars, and as soon as I'd switch the camera to the car, somebody would, well, retire the car. So let's try not to do that. Kai Bacchini in the Williams, though, who drove a superb, and I cannot state that enough, a superb race in Bahrain last week. Hopefully able to come through once again here in Baku, as he is definitely one of the quickest drivers on the grid by my count, and he is now about to begin his flying lap on the medium compound tires. "20 seconds remaining in session as well, Henry."
We see Maxime B come around the final turn. See what he can post. Top 5 perhaps for Maxime. And he does. He goes P3 with a 138.7. Gallo retired in the pits.
Very nice time from Maxime there. Of course, Henry, you know me, very partial to the Canadian drivers on the grid. We've got a few of them. JM2, Nigel, or excuse me, Liam, Maxime. Happy to see a couple Canadians in the top 3 right now, for sure.
And Jay sitting at P14 right now. I'm not sure he wants to be there. It's flying lap. Kai Bacchini next to go over the line. And it's a 139 flat. On the mediums as well.
Yeah, very nice time from him.
Good time from him. And it's centerless. Next across the line with a soft compound. He's gone to the pits, I believe, yeah. Oh, and Jay was P4. I did not see that. With a 138.7.
Jay showing very consistent pace throughout Tier 2 this season. Whenever I think about Jay and some of his superb driving performances, I think about how he was doing in, of course, Germany until that unfortunate spin in out of the safety car restart. But he was driving absolutely superb in Germany, and he had fantastic reactions in that race as well. I can't get it out of my frickin' head, Henry. But that was, of course, qualifying here in Baku. Let's take a look at how things unfolded for the drivers. I did see a grid penalty get handed out very early in the session, so we'll see how that places things. You can see Maxim was the driver to take it, but it is going to be Nigel on pole position here in Baku. Liam, the Canadian driver in the Mercedes, no less, lining up next to him with Maxim, who qualified third position, but of course that grid penalty is going to shuffle things up a bit. But for the time being, Jay in fourth, Jack S in fifth, Kai Bacchini sixth, Juicebox seventh, Pavia eighth, ninth for CJ Virtual, and Hawning showing very well on the softs, rounding off the top 10. Sensorless, of course, in 11th, and we'll go down the rest of the grid ahead of the race. But the top 10, of course, Hawning rounding off the top 10 drivers. We'll see where that puts Hawning and, well, not Hawning, excuse me, but there is going to be a little shuffle as a result of that grid penalty. And it looks like we're still dry here in Baku, so that's always fortunate, as I'm sure rain would really screw things up for some of these guys. But there's always Tier 1 later, guys. We're going to have another roll of the dice in a couple hours for the Tier 1 drivers. And who knows? Maybe we'll have a wet Baku then, whether it be quali or race. But drivers now selecting their optimal fuel loads, getting those setups finalized, adjusting their throttle and things like that. Or at the very least, adjusting the things they can whilst Parc Fermé is enabled. Good luck to all of the drivers. Of course, to any of those listening, take extra care here. You are in the jungle that is the Baku City Circuit. The cage, if you will. And, of course, formation lap now. We've got Nigel leading things off, and we'll take a look at the grid once again. So 20 drivers lining up here in Baku. Remember that number, 20 drivers lining up here in Baku. Nigel, P1, Liam, P2. Jay gets promoted to P3 as a result of Maxim's grid penalty, as well as do a few other drivers. Jack S, Kai Bacchini, Juicebox, and Pavia all move up a slot. Maxim there in 8th. CJ Virtual in 9th. Hawning in 10th. Sensorless 11th. Gadwin is in 12th. The Finn Toro Rosso driver. Energy in 13th, who I do believe is the newest reserve to the Tier 2 roster. And if I'm not mistaken, Henry, a Swede at that.
He is.
It's a Max in the Red Bull, 14th. Young IP, the American, in 15th, making his Tier 2 debut today. JM2 in 16th. Robbo, 17th, as he had some issues getting his car back and sorted into quali. Max Inkster, 18th. Extreme, 19th. And Tammy Halla. Astrodite in the chat telling me that Gadwin is not a Finnish driver. Well, if that's the case, I apologize, but I was quite convinced he was. Of course, he sounds exactly like Valtteri Bottas. So perhaps that's why, but of course I'm sure Gadwin will correct me if I'm mistaken. And it's all in good fun.
Profile, I believe, is finished. So.
And hello to Clark 1313 in the chat. Of course, I don't like to dismiss the chat entirely. I'm always reading it, but of course I want to keep my eyes as focused on the race as possible as Nigel comes into grid position now. Oh, Henry, what are we going to do, my friend? The goosebumps are starting to rise, and I don't know what to think ahead of this race start. Of course, guys, if you're unfamiliar, Baku has quite the reputation both in the Formula One World Championship and most definitely in the virtual Formula One racing leagues. Drivers set now, 5 lights on here in Azerbaijan. The lights are out. The drivers are getting set to go. Nigel will be the first to leave the grid, and there you go. Big puff up of smoke from the tires as these drivers are away down into turn 1. So far, relatively clean. A little bit of a tap there between the Ferrari and Red Bull. So far, everybody very clean up through turn 1. Let's take a look at turn 2 now. which can even sometimes be more chaotic than turn 1. So far,
Very
everybody
clean.
doing a fantastic job here, and we love to see that. Turn 3 now. I can't believe what I'm seeing, Henry, and I have the biggest grin on my face right now. Oh, I love it. Beautiful, beautiful race start here in Baku for these Tier 2 drivers. Of course, Henry, we're not through yet.
Oh no!
Of course, as I say that, we've got a
retired.
retirement. Ooh, not sure what happened. That is, my friends, the commentator's curse.
There's a safety car deployed straight away. Very unfortunate.
Safety car here on lap 1. I've been warned by the Albanian mob if I don't stop switching the camera throughout the opening laps, I might wind up not being able to commentate next week. So, ladies and gentlemen, please tell my Albanian friend in the chat to take it easy. Well, very unfortunate for the Canadian JM2. Safety car here on the opening lap of this race. And I have to say, Henry, we had a fantastic race start here. We had a fantastic race start.
Clean.
You know, after turn 3, anything that happens after that, it happens. But, you know, the drivers through the first few turns here in the cage were extremely, extremely clean. And for that, I am most thankful.
So it looks like Maxim has picked the medium. I don't believe he had any wing damage, so maybe he's looking to stretch these out to the end.
Drivers so far into the pits here: Jack S, Maxim B, Nigel, and Young IP have all opted to stop under the safety car. Of course, their current tires, you can see there, Jack S, Maxim, Nigel, all jumping onto those medium compound tires, Young IP on the softs. Now, I hate to be the one to inform everybody in the chat, but of course, safety car conditions in Baku can be both a blessing and a curse, as safety cars do have the unfortunate ability to breed yet more safety cars. So hopefully, not everybody, you know, forgets about that.
Maxime.
Looks like Maxim
5
got
seconds.
into the rear of that Ferrari, perhaps.
And Yoda, thank you for the tier 1, buddy.
Oh yes, Yoda, thank you very much for the tier 1 subscription. Of course, guys, if you're willing to support the MRL and future prize pools for all of these racers participating, that is definitely a fantastic way to do it. Thank you very much for all of your support, of course, over the season. To everybody who's helped us out. Looks like we're going to be going around one more time here, as the safety car will not be coming in at the end of lap 2. Kai Bacchini into third now. In that Williams. Juice box behind him. These soft tires are going to degrade quite quickly now once the safety car comes in. CJ, Honning, and Tammy all into the pits now.
Extreme into 10th place. Up 9 places. Safety car should be in this lap. I believe.
Once the safety car crosses the sector 2 and 3 split, it will notify us if it's coming in.
Kana 12902. This is not the last race. There's 3 more after this.
That's right, we're still going to be visiting Albert Park for the Australian Grand Prix. The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico for round 16. And last but not least, we are going to the iconic, legendary Suzuka circuit for the Japanese Grand Prix to finish out the season. Safety car going to be crossing that sector 3 split now. Pay attention to the bottom section of your screen here in the stream. It will notify us from race control if the safety car is going to be coming in.
It should be.
Possible that it may tell us throughout this straight you can see here, and it does. So, drivers now. Liam, leading this race, of course, needs to slow down the grid. He is now in effect, the safety car until that safety car comes in the pits. Let's jump on board now with Kai, as Jay is very close to the rear of Liam, and these guys are itching to go here, and Liam has sent it. You can see Kai Bacchini not as quick as Jay to get onto the throttle, and Juicebox is lagging a little bit behind here, and we have a fantastic onboard view into turn 1 as all of these drivers move through.
Oh no, Kai Bacchini spinning at turn 2. Oh,
very unfortunate for him. Big collision here in turn 2. And it's, as I said, safety cars breed safety cars, but fortunately, there hasn't been a deployment as of yet as a result of that incident, but we are back to green flag racing. Ooh, and there goes Hawning into the wall at turn 3. Back to the front of the grid now. You can see the times on the grid have all shaken up. Jack Guest getting out in front of Gadwin as we are struggling to find a battle here on circuit. You can see the Haas down the inside into Castle section there. That's Max Inkster on NRG. And Max Inkster looks like he's suffering from some lag issues. And there goes Kai Bacchini into Castle section in the Williams. And we have a VSC deployment.
I swear Kai Bacchini has the worst luck.
Very unfortunate for Kai Bacchini. He has, like you said, some very unfortunate luck here in these races. Absolute fantastic speed, but...
Oh, an RG with a drive-through.
Not getting that delta slowed down enough, so he's now going to have to serve a drive-through. Now let's see if NRG goes into the pits here. I don't know if he's able to serve that under VSC or not. I can't remember, but you can see a bunch of drivers jumping into the pits, and Maxim's going to move up quite a few positions in the Alpha. He started 8th in this race after qualifying 3rd due to a grid penalty. Now he's back into 4th after 5 laps. Or excuse me,
also
4
extreme.
laps.
Up 16 places.
Fastest lap of the session so far, only a 153.1, which really speaks volumes, going to show that we haven't had that much green running here in the session so far. Take a look at position changes on the grid now, and we'll jump on board with the race leader, who's currently quite far ahead of Maxim. And it seems like he's all alone in Castle section at the moment. You can hear Sensorless is quietly catching up to him in the Haas. So we're back to green flag running. We're coming up through sector 2 now, down into turn 15. CJ looks inside Max, decides to get behind him, does a good job of hopping the curb, and you can see an end plate flying off of the Ferrari. I believe that's Jack S ahead of Max Inkster here. Coming through into sector 3 now. We'll see what kind of run CJ is able to get on the rear of this Haas.
And senseless. Get another home straight. Oh, and Ferjay's dodged the pits.
So Ferjay into the pits now. Max Inkster is under serious threat here. He is wheel to wheel with the Racing Point CJ. And there's wheel to wheel action behind them. It's Liam and Gadwin fighting. Max Inkster on the inside now. He has lost the position to CJ Virtual. CJ into 5th now. Liam in the Mercedes is now joining this fight with Gadwin right behind him in the Toro Rosso. And a train is forming here on lap 6. DRS for the Mercedes. Max Inkster moves to the inside, switches back off to the outside. Liam decides against making a move there. A little bit of contact, a little brush with the wall for the Haas driver. Liam on the outside of the Haas now into turn 4. Very patient is the Mercedes. Ooh, look how tight these drivers are. No!
Oh, no.
Oh dear, that is not what we like to see coming out of turn 5 and 6 at all. Looks like Max, he kind of just came on a little bit close to that outside line. He might have been okay if he had pinned it there. Liam trying to get away with moving along that outside. 5-second penalty for Jack S now with Gadwin. Gadwin's into 5th, and it looks like Jay has lost some positions here.
Dream on the back of
After the pit stop onto those hard compound tires, he is now in 6th. It is extremely difficult to keep up with all of these battles at the moment. Wheel to wheel into turn 1 now. Extreme and sensorless fighting. We'll see if he's going to have a run down into turn 3 on the Haas driver. Of course, a battle for the lead is where we want to keep things focused. DRS now out of turn 2. Up the inside, decides to get on the brakes earlier, and Sensor maintaining that position. He's on those 6-lap-old softs, and Extreme goes a little squirrely there behind the rear of the Haas driver, loses a lot of time, and hopefully Maxim able to capitalize on that a little bit in the Alpha behind. And we have continuous overtaking happening throughout the grid at the moment. Ferj Pavia on Juicebox into 8th position. A multitude of drivers opting to jump into the pits here as the leader is on lap 7.
It does look very cloudy, Striff. I'm just wondering if you see a little bit of a...
It does look quite cloudy. I wonder if... Yeah. 26 laps here. Ooh, Maxim looking for a move on the inside of Extreme there. Extreme kept that car positioned just enough, and there's a big bash with the wall there. So he's definitely going to lose some time in that Ferrari. Maxim has to be smirking at that, of course, rubbing his hands together, waiting for the overtaking opportunity down into turn 1 here. Ooh, very
no.
Not sure what to say about that. Possible that Extreme feeling the lack of aero on the front wing there, but now Maxim is most definitely going to have front wing damage. He's also missing an end plate. Extreme into the pits, though. Liam and Jay, wheel to wheel. Of course, Liam doesn't look like either of them have DRS at the moment. Jay on the inside line, much later on the brakes right now. He's on the inside, and he gets that move done. He gets the switchback on the Mercedes. Fantastic driving from the McLaren. He is on the hard compound tire. At this point, it is the slower tire. But Liam isn't finished with him. He's going to have a run down the outside into turn 3.
And LRG is retired. End of sector 2 on the Curva Grande, as you'd like to say, Striff.
On the kinked Curva Grande, yeah, the Renault you can see on the track map in sector 2, ladies and gentlemen. He has retired out of this race. No safety car deployed as of yet It is going to be the Haas of Sensorless coming up through Castle section now. We'll see if the car is still there as he goes by. We can have a look and see, but I do believe the stewards on circuit have managed to get that all sorted. So not from there. Oh, big slide out on those very worn soft compound tires. 7 laps on the softs now for our race leader, Maxim B, behind him in second on the mediums. Looking for battles on circuit, of course. Not too many battles unfolding at the moment. Juicebox quite close to the rear of Max Inkster for the battle for 6th with Itzamax, his teammate, right behind him on the 4-lap-old softs. Now we have Maxim with the DRS. Is he going to be able to make enough time up on the Haas? It looks like Sensorless getting into the pits now, getting off of those soft compound tires, and Maxim, who we saw qualify 3rd, start this race in 8th as a result of the grid penalty, Henry, is now leading this race.
He is losing the end plate though, so it might cost him a bit of time, but hopefully he should be set.
So Sensorless into the pits. Of course, that will promote a couple of drivers past him up into some better race positions. Liam and Jay in 3rd and 4th now. Jay only a second behind the Mercedes driver.
Kai Bacchini sits at 142 as a fast lap on the soft compound.
Extreme was quite close to Kai coming into turn 2 there. We saw a little bit of a slip from those tires he jumped onto. He's now on those hards. This will be his 2nd lap of running. Kai Bacchini gaining on Itzamax. You can see Kai, fresh front wing on that Williams. 4-lap-old softs. Hopefully he's able to make up some track position. If a safety car was to come out right now, I believe it would most definitely play into his favor to get onto some better tires. Look at how close these drivers are up through Castle. Max Inkster leading the 3 of them. Kai Bacchini almost going into the rear of that Red Bull.
Is Max the only one not to pit, I believe?
Ooh, very tight through turn 15. Kai Bacchini is going to pass, Henry. This is prime opportunity. He is going to have DRS on the Red Bull, and maybe, just maybe, we can see a double overtake out of the Williams here.
And plenty of juice.
Oh, before the DRS zone, he's already passed the Red Bull. He's already behind the Haas, and that rear wing is wide open now. Look at the speed carrying out of this Williams right now. It's 3 wide for the moment, and that's the Ferrari of Extreme.
Safety car. Oh no, safety car deployed.
And Tammy Halla gets into a severe collision with Hawning. Hawning out of this race in the Mercedes. Ferg Pavia coming down into Castle section now. We'll see if he has a look at what happened to that Mercedes, as I don't even see the Mercedes on circuit anymore, Henry.
It's just disappeared, as you say that.
Well, safety car, even though the guys off on the side of the road managed to get that car off the circuit so fast, Henry. I don't know where it went, but we have safety car here on lap 10.
Oh, and we have 2 new subscribers. Thank you very much. Zamajo and BTFU.
Grazie mille, my friends. Thank you very much. I hope you guys are enjoying the race. If you are, my name is Striffium. Joining me is Henry. And we have lots of racing action for you today, as this is only the first of 2 races being held here on the channel. We have Tier 1 kicking things off in just over an hour. Of course, make sure if you are enjoying the stream, you hit that follow button. We're live every Thursday for the Misfits Racing League action. And we greatly appreciate all of your support, guys. So happy to have you here. Now, the big question, Henry, is who pits and who stays out? I believe at this point, I think they can, but I believe at this point we're going to see a multitude of pits. Maxim, the race leader, CJ Virtual behind him, they are coming into the pits now. We're going to have a look at the pit lane. There's Liam. And yeah, most definitely a massive amount of drivers getting into that pit lane now. Maxim actually
hards.
lost a couple of positions in the pits there as a result of that wing change. So CJ Virtual, Liam, Jay, and I believe, well, of course, Juicebox overtaking him on the hards. So Juicebox now the race leader. CJ Virtual overtaking Maxim along with Liam and Jay in the pits as a result of that wing change. Extreme has opted to stay out. We've got Kai Bacchini, It's a Max, Nigel all into the pits, as well as Jack S., Robbo, and Tammy Halla. And very interesting so far. This race has been quite dynamic in the fact that we've had not that many crazy collisions, not at least that we've seen on stream. Only two physical safety cars now and a VSC. I mean, it's lap 11 here in Baku. I'd say we're doing okay, Henry.
For now, we've still got
Knock
a lot
wood.
more
Knock
laps to
wood.
come.
You know, it's been so long since I've raced Baku for a league race. I remember PPR very, very vaguely. I don't know. Maybe you can refresh my memory. What happened? I don't remember.
Honestly, I cannot remember. I'm unfortunately.
You know, I remember racing it in league, but I think that didn't we do a 100% race here a couple months back in Baku? I thought we had done a 100%er here for like an exhibition at some point. And
I believe so.
full disclosure, I don't believe I finished that race.
Probably not. I don't mean to. Trying to think of the word.
Safety car is going to be going around one more time here, of course. Here. So we'll see it come in at the end of lap 12, hopefully. Tammy Halla, another penalty here. A severe collision with Ferj Pavia now. Just to address something very briefly here as we have a moment to do so, to my dear friend Jeb in the chat, you discreetly told me to go ahead without you. So apologies, but you told me to go ahead without you. So cheers. Coming up through Castle section, the camera always likes to switch onto that front right wing. Gives you a very unique view coming out of that uphill section.
Safety car should be in this lap, I believe.
Now, interestingly here, the top 4 drivers right now, actually the top 5 drivers at the moment, Henry. You have 4 of them on hard compound tires. Juicebox leading the race on 7-lap-old hards, which will get quite slippy near the end, I imagine. Of course, Jay is on the 1-lap-old mediums, which is the quicker tire for the time being.
I reckon.
Let's take a look at how things unfold for him, and it looks like the safety car not coming in.
Tammy Halla is coming through the castle section now, so guess it'll be next lap. Which it will be.
Safety car opting to stay out. Tammy Halla, as a result of whatever may have happened with Ferj Pavia. Now Ferj Pavia into the pits. It looks like they had enough of a collision, and now we have a couple of penalties being handed down. There was Jack S, and there was another driver there as well. I'm not too sure who it was. Exceeding track limits under the safety car conditions. I do wish the safety car would come in already. It's getting to be quite long sitting behind these drivers under these conditions, if I do say so myself. I'm sure the drivers are feeling it even more than I am.
I really hope it rains. Them dark clouds that I see.
Yeah, the clouds seem to be getting even darker here, and that safety car is dragging this race on just a little bit longer than I'm sure the drivers would like to be here. So maybe we see some rain near the end. Who knows? Jeff, I'm sure, on the team radio, confusing everybody as per usual. At one moment it'll be 10 minutes, the next will be 15, and then next thing you know, it's raining.
These hard runners need to get their tyres temps up, because they will be stone cold just before this restart.
I have to say, the English driver Jay in that McLaren, repping the English squad in a very, very unique position on those medium compound tires, Henry. I'm looking to see him fly through some of the traffic ahead of him, ahead of this restart. Of course, safety car now going to be coming in this lap as per race control. You can see it there in the bottom left-hand side of the screen. Things slowing down now. CJ Virtual very tight to juice box here. Jay
Nigel
right behind Liam. What kind of jump are we gonna see here? Ooh, big switch out from Liam there, and here we go racing. That's juice box going ahead now. Maxim taking a penalty with a severe collision with Extreme. Not too sure what's going on there, but we got lots of action going on here up front with Jay, CJ, and Juicebox fighting for this race lead. Now it's CJ Virtual on the inside of Juicebox into turn 2 now. He is leading this race, and that's Jay next to him going down into turn 3. He's out in front right now. Is he going to get the move done out of the restart here? It looks like he is. He's on the inside, the better line for the moment. Fantastic job from the McLaren driver here, and there's Liam very close once again here through this section of circuit. Kai Bacchini tapping him on the side. That's Liam in P3 and Kai in P4 in the Williams right now. Jay leading this race here on lap 14. Wild, wild stuff here. It's a Max now, wheel to wheel with Nigel. Nigel on the inside. It's a Max into the rear of the Haas, and that is Max Inkster getting tapped. Fortunately for him, he didn't take any damage, and we have another safety car, and there's another tap from the rear of, or from the Red Bull into the rear of the Haas. So safety car deployed once again here, and that is the last physical safety car available in this race. So I do hope it's a fast one, because I want to see some overtaking. That move from Jay was absolutely fantastic, and I hope it wasn't all for nothing now, as the safety car may have just thrown a wrench in his plans. Max Inkster in the Haas there was getting absolutely bullied through Sector 2 into Castle section. He got tapped into the 90-degree turn before the short straight up through the hill. And then in the hill, he took a tap again from the Red Bull. It's a Max losing both front end plates, and he's going to go into the pits, as is Nigel and Maxim, and that is the Ferrari of Extreme as well. So we have another chunk of pit stops here, and I have to say, at what point are these drivers going to be running out of tires now, as we've already seen a massive amount of stops here in this race. We've got 2 stops each from all the drivers leading the race at the moment. Jay, CJ, Liam, and Kai Bacchini, all 2 stops apiece. Ferj Pavia has been into the pits 4 times already, and we're only halfway through the race, Henry.
Wow. I think Tammy Haller as well. 5 stops.
5 stops for the Williams at the back of the grid for the time being. And we have 4 stops from Jackass as well. So a lot of these drivers having to go in for regular wing changes. They have the pit crew on speed dial through the team radio there, and all they have to say is press 1 for wing change, press 2 for tires, and they're into those pits. And you can just see that safety cars, like I said earlier in this race, breed safety cars. Of course, it's the restarts that we're concerned about. We want to see what happens to the McLaren of Jay on those mediums now, as the safety car is taking some life out of those. Slowly but surely. Juice box. On the 10-lap old hards, Henry. If you're in his position, would you have maybe
I would
pitted?
definitely pit.
Yeah.
Definitely if I had mediums. Or maybe softs. Could stretch it with a safety car. Obviously the safer option is the medium tyres. Jay, I don't want to jinx it, Striff, but
Now it is possible that the safety car comes in here. It is kind of possible. It hasn't said it's going to come in, but it is possible that it comes in. The light isn't on though.
Doesn't look like it. Tell me how late it's still quite back. Yeah.
Oh, the light is on, excuse me. So that, I stand corrected. We're going to see this safety car come in more than likely at the end of lap 16. Well, lap 16, Henry, I promised you I'd give you my race finish predictions. I have a very interesting feeling we're going to see Jay, at the very least, on the podium in some capacity, whether it's the race win or P2 or 3, yet to be determined. But I am going to go ahead and say comfortably, I think we're going to see Jay on the podium, barring any unfortunate incidents, knock wood. And Nigel, in 12th, has a lot of ground to make up, but he has been showing absolutely fantastic pace throughout quali here. And he is on very fresh medium compound tires, so I definitely think it's a possibility we see him on the podium. And I'm going to throw Maxim there for good measure as a Canadian driver on the grid. But then again, hold the phone. Liam is currently sat in P3, and as a Canadian driver, he does have the better opportunity out of the 2 Canadians I have to pick from on the grid at the moment. That is my little bit of bias.
If Jay does get the clean air, which obviously he will, and gets away smoothly, I could see him taking this one. But I don't want to jinx it yet. You know I love the English. Like yourself, Striff.
Of course, yeah. I'm not English per se, but I could sympathize with the English. Now, like you said, Jay in a very good position here. Of course, the Haas drivers, Max Inkster, the newest full-time driver to the grid, who has yet to really prove himself. I mean, he did score points on his debut. I know a little bit, just a touch about the Scott driver in the Haas. Of course, my teammate in the first season of MRL, at least for the first half anyway, over at Ferrari. And full disclosure, ladies and gentlemen, Ferrari didn't score very many points in season 1 of MRL. I wasn't too great, and Max Inkster and I seemed to get into our fair share of incidents. So, you know what? For Max Inkster, good on him, running in 7th. Safety car is on its way in.
Oh my god. Oh, and Jay is away. Oh my god. Look at that gap he's pulled already.
Kai Bacchini on Liam right now isn't letting anything come down to chance. He is already fighting for that podium position. He is on the outside of Liam now into turn 1. Very clean from Kai Bacchini. A lot of overtaking down into turn 1 Jackass now. Ooh, there goes Nigel into the runoff at turn 2. Neither Jackass nor Nigel wanted to concede an inch there, and it looks like Nigel got the worst of that exchange. We have a yellow Sector 1 flag at the moment. A lot of overtaking, a lot of jumbling of positions here after the restart. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that will be the last physical restart so far. VSCs are still on the table, though. Kai Bacchini now on the racing point through Castle section. Let's see what happens. He's very, very close to the side of that racing point. CJ Virtual looks to be struggling a little bit up through this section of the circuit.
Oh, Maxim retired.
And that's a retirement for Maxim. Is it Castle section? We're about to find out. On board with
so.
Tammy Halla. Ooh, you can see the Alpha into the wall just before Castle section there. And we have another safety car. That is the 4th physical safety car. I can't believe what I'm seeing, Henry.
What?
I didn't think it was possible.
Okay. That's a new one, I guess.
The guys over in the pit lane must be extremely bored in the cockpit of that safety car, because what is going on? I can't believe what I'm seeing. This entire race has been physical safety cars, and we haven't really had that much, we haven't had that many bad collisions, Henry. They've been very isolated incidents, and that's Juicebox into the pits now. He's finally getting off of those 12-lap-old hards. And I can't, Henry, I can't believe it. 4, ladies and gentlemen, 4 physical safety cars in Tier 2, round 14 of MRL. I have never, in my time racing in leagues and commentating, and I've commentated quite a few races this year, seen 4 physical safety cars. There must be something in the coding specific to Baku. Maybe we could see it at Monaco as well, perhaps Singapore, a couple of those street circuits. But 4 physical safety cars. So that's 4 physical safety cars so far here in Baku and 1 VSC that we have seen. So very, very unique race in that sense. For those of you just tuning in, we're here on lap 18. Misfits Racing League Season 2 action. It's round 14 out of 17. It's the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and you are watching the Tier 2 division. Of course, in just under an hour now, 56 minutes to be precise, we'll see our Tier 1 division go and do battle here in Baku. And I don't really know what to expect for that race. 4 safety cars here in Tier 2.
And Juicebox.
I don't know what to think.
Second time penalty for exceeding track limits.
Are we going to be going around again with that safety car, Henry? Ugh.
It looks like that way.
You know, when I go and look at the replay of this race, I'm going to count how many laps of green running there were, because there really hasn't been much. I mean, it's almost been, 3 laps per safety car, so that's 12 laps right there. We had a VSC, so let's say 13 laps affected by some kind of safety car. So give or take 5 or 6 laps of green flag running here in this 26 lap race so far. Ooh, and there goes Liam, almost into the rear of the Williams in turn 1. That was quite scary. If I was Liam in the cockpit of that Mercedes right now, I would be losing my mind.
Should be in this lap, I believe. Oh my god. And there's a spin at turn 2 under the safety car.
Ooh, and there goes the Ricardo into whomever that was behind him, reversing into the driver. Of course, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the MRL, ghosting is not on, as we want it to be as close to a realistic experience as possible. Drivers obviously having to slow down for yellow flag conditions, be mindful of where the cars are positioned on the circuit. But this, Henry, is something else entirely.
Wow.
So, At the beginning of this race, you may remember me pointing out 20 drivers began the race here in Baku. 5 have retired the car. 5 DNFs here in the session so far.
Safety car should be in this lap.
And I do want to say hello to good old Bois in the chat. Still more drivers in the race than at Spa. It's not over yet, Bois. It's not over yet. You know, and I'm taking a look at the chat. You know, I'm acknowledging what you guys are saying there. And I will say this. I have to say, Mr. CMK, someone will land in the castle. And we have seen a lack of castle crashes
Max.
here. And now there's Maxim. Or not Maxim, excuse me, Max Inkster. Out in Sector 2 there. Nigel at the back of the grid on fresh softs. I don't know how long those are going to last for him. But this has been such an interesting race, Henry. Safety car.
What is going on?
Is coming in. Jay now slowing down the grid. Let's take a look at the final provisional podium sitting driver, Kai Bacchini, as the start comes back underway here. It looks like Jay is off racing. Kai Bacchini up the inside of CJ Virtual. Into turn 1. What a move from the Williams after that restart. Max Inkster, unfortunately retiring in Sector 2 there, will not see this restart through. You can see he has left the session, and Young IP is now taking a disqualification. Not sure what for.
Ignoring the yellow flag, I believe. So that is 7 DNFs. Striff. Oh, ignore drive-through. Thank you, Mr. Aphrodite and CMK.
Just a friendly reminder to the drivers participating in the race. Of course, if you do retire the car and you have some kind of issue, the Twitch chat, my friends, is not the place to put it. Discord is there for a reason. Jay now on lap 20 leading this race. Kai Bacchini in second. Liam, the Canadian in the Mercedes, in third. CJ Virtual in fourth. Sensorless in fifth, as he has a near-death experience with the inside wall there, wrapping around Sector 2 here. And CJ Virtual has a brush up with the wall out of turn 15. There goes the end plate on the racing point. And let's take a look at the Ferrari of Jack S now, who has a fully intact front wing and is absolutely gaining on the rear of this Haas throughout Sector 3. Let's take a look. No DRS enabled, of course. We have to wait until at least lap 22 for that, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Kai, Liam, and Jay.
Is Jack S going to make this move? He brakes later. Is he going to get it done? Looks like there's a little bit of contact. You can see the hand wave from the Ferrari driver, but he has made that move stick, and it's Juicebox and Extreme. Extreme out in front of Juicebox. Wow, Juicebox on the inside, just barely escaping contact with the Ferrari. The Ferrari makes the move to keep that 8th position. And now it's a Max on his teammate. No kind of team orders, or are we going to see team orders here? I don't know, but turn 3 very close between those, and Nigel is watching all of this unfold, and we already have a train forming here in the battle for 8th position. Kai Bacchini on the 10-lap Old Hards. We know him and Jay have quite the history on circuit. We saw them, of course, come together in Hungary, and they do love to race one another. And sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's a bad thing. But fantastic driving from both of these two. It looks like they're trying to slowly pull away from Liam and the Mercedes in third. CJ has already dropped back quite a significant amount from the Mercedes driver in fourth there. You can see 3.7 seconds is the gap between the racing point of CJ Virtual and the Mercedes of Liam up ahead. But we're going to jump back on with Kai Bacchini as we come down through Sector 3. Of course, the slipstream extremely powerful through this section of circuit here. We'll see what kind of momentum he's able to build behind the rear of this McLaren heading down into turn 1. Gadwin, though, on the Haas. Is he going to be able to make a move? He looks to the inside now. Kaibachini very close to the rear there. Ooh, it's Jackass on the inside of CJ Virtual. Is he able to make the move? Yes, he is, and that's Gadwin now. Not able to make the move on Sensorless, but he will live to die another day, and he is going to have DRS here on lap 22, as I previously predicted. So, will he be able to make something happen into turn 3? He looks to the inside now.
Wow. What a move if he can pull it off.
A little bit of a tap there.
Tap.
So far, Sensorless lives to maintain that P6 for the time being. Kaibachini, we saw him and Jay had a little bit of a swap there for a moment, but Jay still out in front of this race. Gadwin in the Toro Rosso will most definitely be looking to strike again, and unfortunately I can't go on board with him as he's plagued by the wonderful rev glitch.
Shout out to Robbo's AI, doing a fantastic job P9.
I mean, that rev glitch is quite something, but it's even worse when it's in the Toro Rosso, if I do say so myself.
Not a fan of the Honda engines, are you, Striff?
Not particularly. I'm definitely one of the mindset as Fernando Alonso once said. But I'm not going to repeat what he said. But I'm sure those F1 enthusiasts out there know exactly what I'm talking about. Sensorless now. Very close to the rear of CJ Virtual. That CJ Virtual looks like he has a brush up with the wall, and Gadwin now is going to look to capture P6, and it looks like CJ Virtual struggling with some kind of lag, or it's very possible that could be Gadwin as well, but Juicebox now gaining with DRS. Is he going to make a move into turn 1? He is not. Sensorless is into 5th, though. Gadwin slowly dropping back. DRS throughout Sector 1, though, coming out of turn. Kaibachini and Liam in turn 3, excuse me. That's Liam and, oh, it's so tight there, Henry. Kaibachini just gets back into second there. Liam will, of course, try to do that once again, I'm sure, later down through the lap. Jay, on those medium tires, is pulling away in the McLaren. 12-lap-old mediums on that car right now. He is presently running them on lap 13. Gadwin still very close to the rear of Sensorless. Let's take a look here through Castle section. Is Gadwin going to get him into Castle? Ooh, big collision there from the Haas. Gadwin pressuring Sensorless into an error there. Will definitely capture 5th. And Gadwin takes a 3-second time penalty. It looks like he may have cut the corner a little bit there, exceeded track limits just ever so slightly to take a 3-second penalty, and there goes Sensorless. He's definitely feeling the damage on the front right wing of that car. You can see as he slid across the wall out of turn 15. Juicebox now in the Red Bull is going to go on the hunt. They both have damage. You can see Juicebox missing both of his end plates on that Red Bull, but he has so much more speed in that car at the moment on those medium tires. Don't know what Sensorless is going to be able to do. It looks like he's going to jump into the pits for a wing change and to get off of those 14-lap-old hards. And now there's a retirement. It's a max. Again, another retirement here in Sector 2. You can see there the inside wall as Tammy Halla kicks the tire.
On the runoff area. Oh, no. Robbo to P6 with the AI. Liam on the back of Kaibachini going through the castle section. Ooh, Kai locks up a bit.
Jack not close enough for a peak. This is very tight action here coming up through the castle section now. The Williams and Mercedes drivers doing battle. And just like that, we're almost at the end of this race, Henry. 24 out of 26 laps so far. Meaning that after Jay crosses the line, there will be 2 laps remaining, and he is doing a great job of sticking ahead of these guys in second and third. Now Kaibachini goes very wide there through turn 16. That's Liam out in front now, but
Kai would have
Was
the
it
DRS.
exactly? So Kai with the DRS now. It could have been a plot for the taking, but Liam slows down now. Was that a cheeky move to try and switch for the DRS? It was. Liam with the DRS on Kai Baccini now.
Did it work out,
what
though?
a move! But he might have lost too much time lifting and braking there. Kai Baccini says, "Thank you very much. I'll take that position 2 back." And now Liam's going to have to make it work down into turn 3. He is very close to the rear of the Williams, though. He is going to have DRS once again. Not going to make the move here. Nigel and Extreme almost doing an exchange there. We'll see what Nigel's able to do down into turn 3 here with the DRS on the Ferrari driver ahead of him. He has that battery kicked into overtake. Where's he going to go? Extreme on the inside picks his line. You see Nigel up the outside. Who's going to get the better exit? That's going to be Nigel. A little bit of contact with the Ferrari there, and Nigel is into P6 in the Renault. Very nice from him. Let's jump back on over to the front of the grid as Liam, still extremely close to Kai Baccini through Sector 2 here, is absolutely gaining on this Williams. We'll see if there's any more cheeky transfers of position here. Ooh, there's a big lock up there for Kai into turn 15. Is that going to be Liam's position for the taking? Wheel to wheel into turn 16. There goes Liam out in front of the Williams. Now this is going to be very important here. Liam, Kai Baccini doing battle here. Liam has Kai Baccini right in his slipstream. If he tries any cheeky business for that DRS detection, it could not work out. He can't slow down with Kai in the slipstream like that. Kai's going to have the DRS. He's already caught up to Liam, and look at the speed coming out of this Williams now down into turn 1. Liam does not have a chance here to make a move. We are now here on the final lap of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix Misfits Racing League Season 2 action. It's round 14. Jay is your race leader in the McLaren. Kai Baccini in second. Liam in third. Jack S. in fourth in the Ferrari, with Gadwin in the Toro Rosso rounding off the top 5 drivers. The gap right now between Nigel and P5, currently 10 seconds on the 8-lap-old softs. And he was one of the favorites, I do believe, for this race today. Definitely a big fan of street circuits, but the 4 physical safety cars we've had here in this race have definitely played a massive role here. Liam super tight to the Williams of Kai still as we enter Sector 2. Now, of course, Henry, penalties, as always, can definitely play a role in the finishing grid here. Hopefully for Jay, he doesn't have any, but even if he does, I imagine it would only be maximum 3 seconds, maybe the rare chance of 5 seconds here, but he's 3.4 out in front. Liam is going to have DRS on the Williams, and it looks like we had another transfer of positions there in the back of the grid, but we're going to jump on to the front. Here we go. Jay now, you can see him way down the pit straight there, is about to cross the line, but it's Liam. Oh, there's a big collision there. There goes Liam. Oh my dear, there's a bit of a tap. And he isn't going to cross the line. He isn't going to cross the line in the Mercedes. Liam has crashed out before the checkered flag. Oh no.
God. Oh. The stewards, they're going to have a look at that.
I can't believe my eyes, Henry. This race has been absolutely something else. Oh, my dear. Now, Liam, who was set to finish on the podium. Oh, my, that was something. You hate to see it, folks. Juice box now. Coming down the pit straight. Oh, dear. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Jay in the McLaren with the race win here in Baku. Of course, what is Baku without some kind of controversy? Am I right, Henry? Kai Baccini, a provisional second-place finish here. Gadwin with the P3, and that is your podium for the time being. Of course, stewards will have to review the finish of this race. And of course, stay tuned to us on Twitter for the updated standings. Oh my, that was quite the race, Henry. My God.
What a finish. Very unfortunate for Liam.
There is the provisional podium at the end of this race. Of course, it was Tier 2 Baku. Tier 1, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that enjoyed the race, Tier 1 is coming up in just under 1 hour's time at 6 o'clock Eastern or 5 o'clock Central Daylight Time. That is 11 p.m. BST. I know a lot of different time zones, but yeah, keep it here. Follow the stream. We're going to be back live very, very shortly with the Tier 1 action. Henry, of course, who joined me here on the comms, will be taking to the circuit for Williams in that race, and I will be joined by the Australian Mikal. But what a race it was. Let's take a look at the race director now. You can see there Jay finishing first, Kai Bacchini second, Gadwin third, Nigel fourth, Jack S rounding off the top five with his teammate right behind him in sixth, Extreme for Ferrari, CJ Virtual seventh, Sensorless eighth, Juicebox ninth, Tammy Halla finishes in 10th, Henry. Tammy Halla has scored a point in 10th position. Robbo in 11th, Liam 12th. Very unfortunate finish for the Mercedes driver, and that is going to wrap up this Grand Prix. I hope you all enjoyed it. Of course, there you can see on screen we have Tier 1 coming up shortly. And what a race, Henry. What a race. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. Henry, any last words before we sign off ahead of the next race?
Just thanks for joining us, chat. We'll see you in the next one in about half an hour time, Striff.
Yeah, it's 5:23 Eastern right now, which means in exactly 37 minutes, we're going to be taking back to the track for Tier 1. Once again, it will be the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, round 14 for the Tier 1 boys. My name is Striffium. I hope you guys enjoyed the race. Of course, see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, guys. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure you smash that like button to let us know, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you're interested in more great racing content. We are live on Twitch every week on twitch.tv Misfits Racing League. Hit us up in the description below for our Discord and Twitter links as well. Always looking to get connected on those, and if you're interested in joining the MRL, Discord is the place to be. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on our next video.